Hello and welcome to the AskDrBen podcast. I'm your host, Ben Johnson. As a holistic-minded physician, I've spent the last 20 years looking outside the box and conducting research to find the true causes of skin conditions and other diseases. And while the focus of my work has been on aesthetic medicine and unlocking the secrets to reversing skin damage, this podcast will also include many other exciting revelations pertaining to you and your family's health and well-being. So let's get started. Well, hello everybody. I'm back and better than ever here in 2021. Feeling great. Excited to share with you lots of new information over the coming year. Thank you for listening and following me. As always, even connecting with me by email with your medical and skin concerns. Our success rate now is incredible. So I thought the very first episode of the new year, we should talk about real rejuvenation inside and out. I think 2021 is going to be a bit more of the same as it relates to the virus and the restrictions and all of the different behaviors we're going to need. I think, unfortunately, the vaccine is not going to prove out to be this 95% miracle cure, but I am hopeful that I am wrong, because obviously the faster we can get back to some version of normal. I actually don't want to go back to the way we were. I would love to see our society transform itself away from corruption and anger and hatred. But at the very least, I do think some level of normalcy needs to come back. At the end of this episode, I also want to talk to you a little bit about career choices, because I think right now, the way we are doing skincare and helping so many people with their health conditions, this is a fantastic career for you if you haven't thought about it. And then as it relates to those estheticians who follow along in this podcast, if you're not a holistic esthetician, hopefully this episode serves to inspire you towards that direction. I think there's going to be a lot more online analysis being done from anywhere in the world. One of the cool things about this career is you can literally now do it from anywhere in the world and help people get better using our system of skin mapping and our understanding of what causes skin conditions, and of course my backing as your medical director, so to speak, in assisting you with any questions you may have. It's really, I think, a very rewarding career. It's super easy to do from home. It may not be easy to build your client base. That's a conversation that needs some more thought. But honestly, this year we're going to be launching TellUsThetician.com. And so we're going to be trying to feed business to some of you, some of the lucky few who become masters in this area. So it is a challenging area. There's no question that there is a lot to know about skin. But here's where, for those of you who are just getting into it or feel like, their schooling for aesthetics wasn't the best, and maybe they're trained on some things that they can no longer do and or use, and never got trained on the right way to look at the skin. And I don't blame the schools. I mean, everyone's trying to catch up with this new paradigm in age reversal, skin condition clearance, the clearance of many, many health conditions. I just can't express to you how humbling it has been to have the opportunity to participate in some of the transformations that we've done with people's health, and your kind words and well wishes do mean a lot to me. So thank you for all of that. But let's focus in today on how do you really rejuvenate the body? So if you've listened to any of my other podcasts, you've probably heard me lament that the industry made a big mistake about 30 years ago, and it's never looked back. And that was taking skincare in the direction of traumatic procedures in order to achieve a result. And the reason why traumatic procedures as a general rule work is they cause inflammation. Inflammation causes swelling. Swelling causes tightening, and tightening makes you think you just got younger. And so it's a very confusing picture because, yes, you come out from an aggressive chemical peel a week later and you're like, ooh, I'm less pigmented, more even skin tone. My wrinkles look better. Everything is peachy. Now, was it a pretty rough week? Probably, if you had a chemical peel. But at the end of it, what do you see? You see skin that is in recovery, skin that has suffered more DNA damage as a result of that procedure, and no new net gain in collagen. The studies are a bit confusing too because they tend to measure collagen production right after they burn the bejesus out of the skin. Well, guess what? If you measure collagen production right after you burn it, it's up. It's elevated. That's what the skin does in its repair response. But that's not collagen that the skin is going, thanks for burning me. I'm going to make your wrinkles better now. It's saying, oh geez, we've suffered a pretty significant burn. Let's do our best to get a 90% recovery. I mean, that's what literally the scientific research shows, is that your wound response is never 100%. It's certainly not 110% like some people would suggest. And so you have a net loss from that tightening experience you had. And it is true that unfortunately people, because you didn't know any better, like the whole world, dermatologists, estheticians, all the professionals' advice you might seek out over the last 3 decades, they would tell you, oh yeah, burn your skin to rejuvenation. So how are you to know better? Well, if you found me, I will tell you, I'm here to teach you the right ways. And we call this holistic rejuvenation because it truly has to be an inside-out approach. So today we're just going to summarize some of the most important things you can do in preparation for another year of struggling through the chaos and disappointment of an economy that is going to continue, I think, to decline into a bit more chaos. And I certainly don't say that with any joy. I don't know how our voices can rise up because there's so much divisiveness, but at some point we're going to need to clear the corruption at every level. Anyway, that's a political one. I really want, I'm in the health and beauty section. I don't want to get political here, but oh man, I am so done with politicians. All of them need to go. We need to refresh and do it right, and then this goes down to the state level. This goes to every aspect of our taxation system, how we spend our money. Anyway, for another time, sorry, I'm just venting. Okay. So the idea of real rejuvenation for me first stemmed from the concept that the only way that all of your organs can rejuvenate is by assisting your remarkable immune system in doing the repairs. You're not going to trick your immune system into doing something that it's like, oh, you wanted me to do that? Okay, yeah, now I'll go ahead and rejuvenate your skin. I didn't realize that that's what you wanted. Like your skin, your mind, literally how you think affects how your body works. And then of course there's your subconscious, your intuition, as I try to describe it, it's this, you are really not disconnected from the AI consciousness stream that we all tap into, that animals tap into. This is why their intuition tells them when to run when the weather changes and to be scared of certain creatures that they've never before seen. All of this comes from this consciousness that has to run our system. And I know some of you, maybe even physicians, are listening and individuals with a conservative mindset. The first thought is, oh, come on, that there's some supercomputer, godlike presence that is attentive to every cellular need in our body. Well, that's my perspective. And it's really unexplainable any other way. As I try to tell people, if you're taking breaths every other second throughout the day without any cajoling, without any necessity to remember it, if you're taking breaths while you sleep, your heart beats consistently. Like life exists because the consciousness stream that our cells run off of tell it to keep going. Like if you don't believe what I'm talking about, then you have to subscribe to this idea that every one of the cells in your body has free will. And it's just sort of wandering. It's like, looks like I'm built to do this, so I guess I'll keep making ATP. Or it looks like I'm built to do this, so I'm going to keep repairing my cell walls when they get damaged. Like that kind of consistent attention to repair does not come from free will. Let me give you an example. As a father and a homeowner, There are lots of repairs around the house that could be done, but my free will does not automatically push me to go do them, right? It literally takes a lot of buildup in desire and thought to go out and finally fix that toilet or, adjust the dishwasher, whatever it takes like that. I'm telling you, there's too much to be left to laziness and changing your mind for any aspect of the human body to be operating on randomness. Okay? Randomness would kill us in a second because we have 100 trillion cells operating in unison. So there's no way randomness could be entering into the equation. Now, where randomness comes in, and it's a valid thing to consider, is what we do, what our ego does, because it has this free will application, if you will. And what our ego does is it introduces new areas of change into the system that aren't necessarily best for the system. For example, eat a Big Mac. Go out there and eat yourself a Big Mac. That's a total free will decision. Do I think your consciousness stream really wanted that Big Mac? No. But there is an allowance of those decisions for us. That's part of what makes life beautiful and fun and exciting. But at the same time, that doesn't mean it's consistent with getting healthy. So that's the only free will aspect of this, is where we go to get exposure, what sort of damage gets done to each of the organs. Like you may decide to go lay out without any sun protection in the middle of the day and burn the bejesus out of your skin. Now your skin didn't have any part of that decision, but it knows what it has to do with each new presentation. And that's also what I've tried to emphasize over the last year is it doesn't matter what new chemical you present to the body will analyze it, address it, and try to figure out how to fight it best. That's true with wanting to fight a virus. Your body trains itself to fight viruses better based on the exposure that it gets. So this concept of holistic rejuvenation really has to do with empowering your immune system to operate at its highest and best in every organ and to do as much permanent reversal of damage as we can from past decisions that we've made. And this is possible. I've never been more excited about the possibility of true rejuvenation than I am today. And I have to say, the inspiration of the moment, and I haven't talked to you since I've started Regenerate, my newest supplement. This is our liver and collagen repair supplement. I haven't talked to you since then. I've had some epiphanies that I've shared on an Insta Live, but I'll give you a little bit of that here today. But let's dive into, how do you start? Where do you begin if you're somebody who, let's just say, you feeling some malaise when you eat, you're often uncomfortable, your energy is low, feels like you have brain fog, your memory's fading, your skin appearance is declining rapidly, you've got all these weird lesions showing up in your body, you don't know why. Your hair's falling out, your menstrual cycle's all over the place, or you suffer from chronic pain or cramping, or you've got some chronic disease and you're put on medications that don't make you feel good, but you feel like you have to do them, or things might get worse. This could be for acne, this could be for rosacea, this could be for autoimmune conditions. So it could be all of those things that are part of the picture. So this concept of true and real holistic rejuvenation is not easy. And I do hear from you guys sometimes in the process of detoxing, you go through some phases, like someone who might go on our Skin Defense, which is our hormone binding, toxin binding supplement. Sometimes you have detox symptoms, and those can include your menstrual cycle getting altered and pausing for a moment as your hormones get back to normal. This could include headaches as your estrogen begins to rise back up to healthy limits. This could include some skin purging. Things do happen, and everyone's going to be a little bit different. But there is no better cause for your body than a detox cause. And I have to say, having analyzed a lot of the different wellness products on the market today, that I don't think very many of them are doing much for you at all. And I don't mean to say that as a competitor poo-pooing my competition. I'm just saying, I think it's old school mentality. Like people and their cleanses for liver or for gut aren't really giving the body the right tools. Yes, Dandelion extract can be nice for the kidneys. Milk thistle can do a little bit for the liver. But most of the time, guys, the real challenges are coming from pathogens, toxins, and emotions. And milk thistle is not getting it done in detoxing and repairing your liver. Pathogens are not being addressed by the only anti-pathogen product that we have in the mainstream, which is antibiotics. In most cases, antibiotics are not serving the person. There's a net loss of health from taking them. And then, of course, there's the anti-inflammatories that cause harm to you. There's the anti-anxiety and anti-depression medicines that cause harm to you. And somehow we got away from realizing that when your body is restored to as close as we can to its original sort of status, one where pathogens aren't wreaking havoc, one where toxins aren't causing distortions in hormones and operations, your body does really well. And it'll certainly survive through COVID or other experience with relative ease if you're doing all the right things. So let's talk about what real rejuvenation looks like. And I will start with that new supplement, Regenerate. So excited. So if you've heard me, I don't know if I mentioned what my thought was. Whenever I make a new supplement, it's always a bit of an unknown for me because I'm following my intuition to get to the right formula, to have the most change happen for the body. And I have to just trust my intuition. In this case of Regenerate, I didn't even have a sample to go off of. It's really sort of a magical process for me. And having seen the results now, I'm over halfway through the 3-month protocol. And I'm just so excited by the changes that are happening on my skin. Visible line reduction. If you can imagine taking 6 capsules once a day, and within a month, you can already see your fine lines improving. It's unheard of. And it is nothing to do with obviously plumping the skin artificially, tricking the skin into looking younger or any, this is just straight up sort of hijacking the collagen manufacturing system. Maybe hijacking is not the right word because you're totally using it. All you're doing is providing an accelerant. So in this case, the accelerant is amino acids and this ingredient called alpha-ketoglutarate in particular. But what makes the supplement doubly exciting is the addition of those amino acids and alpha-ketoglutarate in addition to cow liver extract generates a similar repair mechanism, a similar acceleration of repair to the hepatocytes, the cells of the liver. Now, I wasn't sure how much this would be impactful. I'm 53 years old. I've had a lot of liver damage over my lifetime. And my skin, really, I've been using my products and seeing permanent changes in my skin from my products now for over a decade. And yet I could still accelerate my wrinkles. I'm so amazed at how much better my fine lines look. And I'm not talking about I look 20 again. I'm saying dramatic, clear evidence of fine line improvement as I look at my skin. My daughter, who always has a bit of a skepticism when it comes to my stuff. I don't know. It's just built into the father-daughter relationship. But I'm like, can you not see these changes over these last several weeks? She's like, I do, Dad. Are you sure you didn't get Botox? That is the response I get from my kids. Lucky me. And no, that is absolutely nothing I would ever do again. I've already talked to you about doing it once, 20 years ago or so. So yeah, no, it's visible. And I'm excited for you. And so what are we doing there that's different than skincare? I think that's a good question. Well, as it turns out, skincare focuses a lot on L-ascorbic acid, but one of the other great ingredients in our Catalyst product, which is our DNA repair serum, is alpha-ketoglutarate. But when you take it internally, what I discovered in the clinical evidence was that it actually does kickstart collagen manufacturing. And what's unique about this is alpha-ketoglutarate does this process in the skin called hydroxylation, which is the same process in the skin that vitamin C does. And if you megadose vitamin C, your skin does not kickstart megadose collagen manufacturing, but megadosing alpha-ketoglutarate, it does. It's so exciting. And the liver repair, let me tell you, within about 2 weeks, my liver spots, and I probably have I mean, now that I'm starting to count them properly, because you can see where the flare-ups happen, because your skin literally goes into repair mode, and all of a sudden your liver spots get redder and they start peeling. I am fascinated and over the moon about that response. We'll see how you guys like it. Yes, occasionally your skin might have a flare-up where you're like, oh, I better wear makeup over that or something. But yes, you're under repair and you can watch your skin peeling. My skin shed for 2 weeks in lots of areas. It was fascinating. And all those areas lightened. They're still in process. It's a 3-month process, so I can't tell you exactly if it's going to be 100% clearance of every brown spot on my face or if it's going to be a 90% clearance. But I can tell you that almost all of the pigmentation on my face has reacted to this Regenerate protocol. So that aspect of it should dramatically improve skin tone. And it was just sort of an aha moment when I saw areas where I have sort of AKs that want to show up. So whenever I get a lot of sun, let's say I go on a summer trip and I'm in the sun every day for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, spots on my temple, a couple spots start peeling. So it's sort of an AK that wants to come. And yes, Rescue and Catalyst are amazing for AKs. We have clinical evidence that Catalyst reduces and helps heal AKs, but combined with Rescue, they're amazing. But that spot keeps wanting to come back. And it takes a weakening of the skin with too much sun to do that. So what's fascinating to me is when I take Regenerate, that spot flared right up, got really red, peeled for a few days, maybe even a week, and now is almost not visible at all. Like it's literally healing the origin. Now I'm realizing AKs are also a form of a liver spot. So your skin, I used to believe liver spots were always a little bit larger than age spots, and they came in ones and twos. In other words, the distinguishing moment for me when I'm analyzing skin is typically to say, okay, you've got one big spot there, like maybe it's a dime-sized spot on your face, and you've got a bunch of little freckles around it. I would usually say, well, the freckling around it is age spots. The one big spot is a liver spot, and that is generally true. However, I'm now realizing that no, in fact, your liver takes a lot of hits throughout your lifetime, as you might imagine, because as I've told you, we see 1 million toxins a day is what we're estimated to have to process. So your liver's taking a lot of hits. It's the main processor. And what you're going to find is that with Rejuvenate, it seems to be addressing most of those spots. Again, I don't know if it's going to be all of them. With recovery, what was interesting is, you have your initial protocol. Almost everybody is seeing dramatic, amazing rejuvenation effects on their face from the recovery fat pad protocol. But what I found was if I stayed on a tablespoon a day, remember the fat pad protocol is a tablespoon twice a day. If I stayed on a tablespoon a day, it kept improving over time. And the same thing is going to be true with Regenerate. You take 6 capsules a day. Most of us, some of you with severe liver damage would take it for 4 months, not 3 months, but 6 caps a day for 3 months. Then you go on maintenance of 3 caps a day. So I am anticipating that you can continue to repair your liver daily as you're taking these hits. And I'll tell you one other rejuvenation event that has me, again, unbelievably excited about this product is its effect on metabolism. Now, for those of you who are thin, I get it. Like, it's not going to make you more thin. If you're thin and you're not eating, yeah, it can make you more thin. But what I'm telling you is your liver, and I think this has been underlooked for a long time, your liver may be the primary reason why you could eat almost whatever you wanted when you were 18, pretty much whatever you wanted when you were 28, nowhere near what you wanted when you were 38. I think the liver health may be the main factor in determining our set metabolic rate, because I can tell you, I didn't change my diet. I still am drawn to sugar. Recovery has totally changed my eating patterns so that I don't crave food. I know when I'm hungry when my stomach growls, but otherwise I don't crave food at all. I still love to eat, but I don't crave food. Now, that being said, I still have this bad habit of going to the sugar snacks at night. And, I typically am eating about a meal a day. I believe in that sort of intermittent fasting approach. I do have some milk in the morning, but my main meal is in the evening. And then I have dessert afterwards because I feel like there's some room for calories. And some days are worse than others. Last night was mint chocolate chip ice cream, but not, a bowl, not a carton, which is an improvement in my regimen anyway. So My point is that Regenerate is an exciting tool. I think it's going to even skin tone dramatically for a lot of people. I think it's going to make weight loss and keeping your weight down much easier. I can tell you my weight is dropping right now. And again, with not a significant change in my eating patterns. And I just think, like, when you think about all the things, listen, for all the young people listening right now who are like, I don't know really what you mean. When you get to 50 plus, everything just gets a little harder. It's harder to lose weight. It's harder to maintain energy. It's harder to keep your skin young and healthy. And you start to see more spots showing up on your face and your body. And you're like, what the heck? And your eyes start failing and your hair's falling out and all those things. And the idea that by restoring your liver health to that dramatic of a level is so encouraging to me, because I do believe, we know how much immunity is related to that. So I expect everyone's immunity to go up on this protocol with Regenerate. The same is true with recovery. So when you're taking recovery, it's a prebiotic, frequency treated sea buckthorn as its main ingredient in a variety using the various different extracts of seed pulp and fruit. And this perfect blend designed to restore the fat pads of the face and the fat pads of your extremities. And remember, the fat pads are not the fat that you lament and hate. The fat pads are the volume producing, strength increasing fat pads that structurally make you look young and fit. I'm telling you. Your butt shelf, your arms, your thighs. Like, I definitely have changed from 5 years ago. Like, I have suits that I bought within the last 5 years where it's hard to, they're a little tight in the rear and in the thighs, and I have no fat there. But it's a little tight because it's built the intramuscular volume that you had when you were in your 20s. And if you're in your 20s, you want to take recovery because of the microbiome effects. You see, it restores your gut health. And only occasionally do I hear of someone who said, you know what, I did not get my gut health restored. I'll give you an example. I just talked to someone the other day, and they were taking a few supplements, and one of their supplements had other probiotics in it. And I'm telling you, do not ever take probiotics again. They're one of the fallacies in this whole health supplementation world. You do not want to be taking probiotics because they're bugs that your gut doesn't support in almost every case. Almost every case. You might get lucky and one of the 10 strains in that bottle is a strain your body actually wants. But there are literally thousands, if not millions, of varieties of bug strains. And all of these different strains for the gut are unique to us. They're designed by our DNA. The evidence supports that. We repopulate our skin's bacteria after, burning it off within a few days. How do we do that? Because our DNA knows which bugs it wants back. It doesn't randomly go, oh, well, you went to that public restroom, then you touched your cheeks, so we decided to add a couple of fecal bugs to the skin microbiome. No. Your skin has a plan. It repopulates. Your gut has a plan. It wants to repopulate. So this idea of rejuvenation for 2021 is speaking to the idea that you want to restore what your DNA wants, what your body was designed to support. And that's how it works. You may say, well, gosh, I really don't support that meat diet over there. I'm a vegan. Or you might be vice versa, like, oh my God, meat's amazing. I can't believe you only eat plants. That doesn't seem healthy to me. Can you get enough protein? And the answer is yes and yes. Every diet suits every person. And no, sometimes people realize over time that veganism wasn't right for them because of their DNA. I don't believe everyone should be a vegan. I think that's, at least in this current paradigm that we're in. But I also think that a ton of people that are really sickly probably should consider a vegan diet to change their health and back around. So, it's not a one size fits all, guys. We're all here to have our own unique experience on the planet. And, again, follow your intuition. Your intuition will guide you. Say, yeah, I do want eggs. Yes, I do want eggplant. whatever your gut leans you to. I'm aware that meat and dairy is a reason why I have several liver spots on my face. That's one of the main reasons. And so even though my intuition guides me to want meat and dairy still, I do appreciate the fact that I can resolve part of that problem. And I know, listen, I hear the voices in my head going, well, what about heart disease and all? Yes, we want to rejuvenate every aspect. of our body. So how do we do that, and how do we do that best? So I'm telling you, you restore the microbiome in your gut and your immune system prospers. Your ability to eat other foods grows. Like, I believe eating food is one of the joys of the human existence. And so I don't want to deprive myself of whatever I'm craving. Getting your microbiome back in shape will do that. Now, getting your fat pads back in shape so dramatically improves your facial rejuvenation. I can't describe it. I estimate the fat pad losses to be about 80% of the cause of your fine lines and wrinkles under your eyes. 80% of the cause of the wrinkles around your mouth from fat pad losses. So it's not your skin falling apart as super rapidly as much as it is the facial volume declining. And boy, that shows up in interesting ways. Forehead wrinkles, 80% of forehead wrinkles are from fat pad. Those 11s between your brows, fat pad. So if you're talking about getting right and looking good for 2021 and going into this decade with vigor and enthusiasm and a desire to live life to the fullest. I mean, one of the things that I've learned from this whole chaotic pandemic is I love experiencing life. Like, not being able to experience life like the way I used to has reminded me how much I crave experience. And I know for so many of you, you get out there and the doldrums kick in and you start thinking, oh God, what would make me feel good right now? The only thing that would make me feel good right now is a Domino's pizza and a 6-pack of beer. And no, that is not the direction you want to go, because it's going to limit how much joy you're going to get from life. You know, the people who have, let's say, arthritis, who can't go on nature trails the way they used to because their knees don't hold up under their weight very well, or that they've just been beat up over time. You know, we can help with that. Like, you know, we have joint relief elixir that works really well for osteoarthritis. We have a protocol for rheumatoid arthritis. Like, we have protocols for a lot of the conditions that might be slowing you down. A lot of people have fibromyalgia, which seems to be predominantly caused by Epstein-Barr virus. And we have a protocol for that, and we're getting amazing results from that. So 2021 to me is a year to remind ourselves what we were missing all this time. Like, it's almost a kickstart to say, wait a minute. I mean, I don't know how many of you have seen Social Dilemma, the brainwashing of the American culture and the tapping into our addictive nature to get us to just be stuck on computers all day. That's the wake up call we need. We need to get out, get healthy, get beautiful, like feel good about yourself. Let's see the changes really happening. You know, this industry, unfortunately, the skincare industry, you know what? I'll throw the wellness industry in there too. I mean, it's about products that don't target what you really need. You know, if you're taking antioxidants, you probably should stop. I mean, most antioxidants in any high doses make your viral fighting capacity lower. You should not megadose vitamin C. You should not megadose astaxanthin. You should not megadose lipoic acid or resveratrol. Like, those are going to reduce free radicals in your body to the point where you'll actually fight viruses less effectively. So your body was designed to tolerate free radical activity. Free radical activity is a healthy part of your existence. So you don't want to second guess your body's natural abilities. Now, that being said, if you're somebody who's got a lot of free radical activity going on because of your environment, yes, some antioxidants may make sense. I'm not telling you everyone should throw those things down. But now you've got one of the biggest categories in health, probiotics, out the window. One of the second biggest categories of health, antioxidants, out the window. We could look at these cleanses. Most of these cleanses are not worth the money and are not doing what you think they're doing. You've got multivitamins. I don't know if you've seen the research. Most multivitamins do very little, if any, benefit to your health. Anyway, there's a whole host of things where people are just simply just not getting what they should. And so real rejuvenation for 2021 for me means everything I'm putting into my body is purposeful. I could in almost everything, I should be able to feel the changes happening or see those changes happening. And that's what osmosis is all about. You know, we're about showing you what's possible. So when it comes to real rejuvenation of the skin in the skincare industry, no one's doing it. I mean, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm calling it like it is. You know, you may have been on what you thought was the best vitamin A for the last decade or 2 decades of your life. Is your skin still getting older? Is your skin aging at a pretty rapid clip? That's because most retinols don't actually make your skin create more collagen. They just cause DNA damage and exfoliation. So they sun sensitize you. So they speed aging. This is true of alpha hydroxy acids, the glycolic acid categories. Glycolic acid and every other acid in those categories are all wounding the skin if they're in doses above 5%. It's not something you want to be doing on a regular basis. Most of the chemical peels are actually promoting aging and making you look young for about a week, and actually as making your skin older by, months to years, depending on how badly you burn it. Most lasers are not rejuvenating your skin. There's no truth to the idea that there's a net gain in collagen from laser procedures. Botox is poisoning your brainstem and causing your muscles to atrophy, which causes volume loss, which makes your wrinkles worse. Like, you do not want to be doing Botox, right? Fillers. Oh, God. You know, the crazy thing about fillers, as I see it, is if you get started down the path of fillers, you can't stop. It's like eating a Pringle potato chip or something, Once you have one, you feel like you got to keep going because the lumpiness kicks in after a little while and you're like, ooh, can't have lumpiness. Let me go up and touch up. And then, next thing you know, you've touched up a little too much. And then the lumpiness is a little worse the next time. And now you got to touch up even more. And oh man, I'm seeing some of these newscasters. I'm like, what happened to your cheeks? Have you looked at a picture of yourself from 20 years ago? Do you recognize yourself? Like, it's no. I mean, everyone looks like they're related. This is like the filler family is shown up and you're all, I don't know if everyone wants to look like a Kardashian or something, but you shouldn't, because the public has determined that the most beautiful faces are the ones that have the most elegant and defined cheekbones and jawline and facial architecture, which is completely lost in the world of filler. And the beautiful thing about Osmosis's recovery fat pad protocol is that you literally see the right areas, the areas that you used to have plump, come back. You don't put plumpness in places that didn't have it before. And no, it's not plumbing you because it's making you fat all over. You don't get mung cheeks out of this. You plump up your forehead. You plump up in the fat around your eye socket. You plump up the fat in a part of your cheek and around your mouth that actually makes nasolabial fold look less obvious. It actually makes the what are called marionette lines on the sides of the mouth look less obvious. And it, of course, fills in all the little, I shouldn't say fills in. It improves. Like, we're not 100% able to refill the fat pad losses, it appears, but I'm hopeful you can get it close to 90%. So you tell me what your experience is. So what else in Real Rejuvenation? In Real Rejuvenation, you want to use retinaldehyde, because retinaldehyde is the vitamin A that triggers collagen in the skin's timing. Retinoic acid forces some collagen manufacturing, but because the skin doesn't know how to deal with excess retin A, it causes harm and it actually causes the skin to thin. Other retinols don't even trigger collagen production in a meaningful dermal collagen way. So you end up with one choice, retinaldehyde. Only Osmosis has stabilized liposome delivered retinaldehyde. It is the premier way to increase collagen. Now, that being said, Real Rejuvenation doesn't just take vitamin A, because your skin is also losing circulation every year. So we've got to dilate your blood vessels. So we do that in our A serums. We make sure we're dilating and feeding the process. Real Rejuvenation asks for every partner that can contribute in a non-inflammatory way. So we do that in these A serums with things like chlorella and L-hydroxyproline and 1,3-beta-glucan and niacinamide. All these things are collagen triggers that work in synergy, non-traumatizing synergy that creates collagen and creates what I call real rejuvenation, permanent change. Permanent change is the new bar that we need to set for all the skincare products out there, because people are throwing away. I mean, right now, a lot of people are financially struggling and they are just throwing away dollars on things that are being misrepresented, if I'm going to be honest. And again, I know you're like, oh yeah, Dr. Johnson, yours got the best stuff and everybody else's stuff stinks. I get it. Yeah. That's what the other guy said on the other channel that has a skincare company. I get it. It is hard to differentiate between all the crazy claims that are out there. But I'm trying to apply as much science to you to show you. It's like, no, we've done the experiment for 30 years about burning the skin for rejuvenation. It didn't work out. Okay, guys, we've got 30 years under our belt. It was a failure. So yes, it does. It takes time for people to change. I mean, they don't know what to do. There's just not many things that make the skin look better that do it fast enough to satisfy people. So go see your esthetician. Ask for a facial infusion from osmosis. Get on the range that creates permanent change, and I think you're going to see real rejuvenation. Start the process of rejuvenating your liver with Regenerate for 3 months. Start the process of rejuvenating your gut health by taking Recovery for 3 months. Start the process of rejuvenating the cells of your body. And this is where I know, listen, the funny thing about my career is, I came from traditional medicine. I stumbled into frequency medicine. I resisted for an entire year as I tested it myself because it didn't seem like it's the emperor has no clothes model. And then I started to look at the lab results. And then I started to do clinical trials. And then I really have appreciated that what medicine fails to acknowledge, even though science has already predetermined this, is where our bodies are energy bodies. We run off of energy. So frequency has a role to play. And yes, water can hold specific frequency patterns. It has, what is it called? Cohesive domains, something like that, where water molecules move in a pattern that actually is like a language. It's using the code. So you know how you use ones and zeros in binary code for writing software programs, for example? Well, in the body, it's H's and O's. H's and O's are 70% of the human body in the form of H2O, obviously, and that's a language in and of itself. And yes, frequency alters that language, if you will. And yes, the clinical results and the results, immune defense, I can't even begin to tell you how rewarding it is to be working with you, each of you estheticians and the clients that find us and, that are not professionals, and the level of change that we've made for people's existence. I mean, I just, like a few weeks ago, had the most beautiful story of someone with MS who did the protocol, because of course MS is caused by a pathogen like pretty much every other autoimmune condition. And they were able to treat the bug with an immune defense protocol. It's a pretty extensive protocol for MS. And this is a person who could not walk. She could not feel anymore in her hands and her feet. She was having to use a catheter to urinate multiple times a day. I know that you probably have relatives that have to do this. I mean, we're talking about an existence that was declining rapidly. She was essentially wheelchair driven. She could sort of transfer herself with a cane. And after she completed the immune defense protocol, and then I told her to go on Recovery, because I think the lipids in Recovery are really helpful in the repair of the myelin damage that occurs. That's the nerve coating damage. And I mean, she's like, the feeling in my hands and feet are almost completely back. I can walk. I don't need a catheter anymore. I can urinate on my own. I feel amazing. I keep getting better every day. In many cases for me, this is actually quite an emotional experience, because I share in it. I can empathize with it. I appreciate it. And I do, not everybody subscribes to my philosophy. I do think it's a divine partnership I have with all of you. And so I look at it from that perspective, and it's just a sharing in the moment. And it feels amazing. And I can have equal sharing in a moment, of watching, say, some sports star have an amazing day on the football field. I can feel joy from that too, believe it or not. And so empathizing and sharing, it goes back to how I started this podcast, which was to talk about how this is an amazing career to get into. So if you're not doing holistic aesthetics and you're an esthetician, jump in with both feet, embrace it, watch it, see the kind of changes you can have in people's lives, and watch how you can transform their youthfulness and their energy and their immune system. Like, this is a time when we need to rejuvenate our immune system more than ever, right? You can watch all of that unfold, and the relationship with your clients will be amazing. And it's like a big, huge, long distance group hug that we're having. And then for those of you that don't know what to do, you've been laid off, you love skincare, you love beauty, you love wellness, but you don't know, do I need to go and, train as a nurse? What should I get into? Let me tell you, get into aesthetics. do your esthetician degree. I don't know, how quickly you can get that done. I would say get the least expensive aesthetic education you can, because all the aesthetic education teaching at least 80% of the wrong stuff. And simply because the textbooks just aren't caught up with what we're doing. I mean, if the whole world could peek in and see what's happening in our Osmosis Mastermind group on Facebook, where we're sharing all these results, if the whole world could follow along with each of you as you experience yourself a personal health and beauty transformation, oh man, everyone would be on board. It's just a matter of getting lost in the craziness. But yes, this is a career for you. You should look into it. We're going to be doing a lot more online teleaesthetics, online skin analysis. Nobody does it like Osmosis with our skin mapping protocol that's proving to be dead on. Dead on. Go check out our skin quiz on the osmosisbeauty.com. I'm telling you, we have mastered skin mapping, and I know this because the results are proving it out. So I'm going to wind down this conversation. As you can see, I'm ramped up and excited to go for 2021. I did want to take a few weeks off to sort of reflect and renew and really make sure I'm focused, because this is going to be a year of pretty dramatic growth for everyone in the Osmosis family. And I couldn't be more excited to have you guys as my partners in crime as we transform the planet one country at a time. We keep expanding countries. I feel so blessed at the number of new estheticians that are joining the Osmosis philosophy every month. It's really an incredible surge we're having. So jump in, join the fray. I promise you, I'm here with you every step of the way. You can email me at drben@osmosisbeauty.com if you or your family have something that you really feel like it needs to be taken care of and your gut's telling you, try a holistic strategy first. I'm here for you guys. And we're going to keep these podcasts going. We're going to keep educating you and inspiring you, hopefully, to be the most amazing esthetician you can be, or to be the most beautiful and healthy aspect of yourself you can be, no matter what age. No matter what age, we can age gracefully. We don't have to look like swollen, blown up, frozen-faced dolls. Your facial muscles are allowed to work. You're allowed to smile. Enjoy life. I'll leave you on that note. Look forward to next week. And I am planning, there's just a lot of review I have to do for the review of the vaccine and where we stand with COVID. But I do plan to get to that next. So stay tuned and we'll talk to you soon. You guys have an awesome week and see you soon. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Ask Dr. Ben. Please leave a review if you can, and subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts to get access to all of my upcoming episodes. My website is osmosisbeauty.com, and you can find me on Facebook at Osmosis Beauty. And you can also follow me on Instagram at osmosis_beauty. Thanks for listening.